All right, here we are the third week of January with a bee update. I'm gonna come down here and see if I can capture what I've been seeing all afternoon, which is that in spite of the fact that nothing is supposed to be blooming, the number of bees who have been coming in with absolutely loaded pollen baskets is quite astounding. And I had not planned to open the hive, but because I was comfortable in a t-shirt outside, I figured it was okay to do so. My plan was just to take the top off and give them some fondant. They had actually not eaten but about half of the fondant that I gave them 3 weeks ago, which I guess means that they were doing fine on their resources. But as you can see, they are loaded with pollen. I took a quick glance inside and they are really expanding the brood nest. So I have gone ahead and put on another deep super, and about half of it is absolutely fresh foundation. Half of it is some stuff that they worked on last year. Anything that really had any significant honey in it, we put in the hives last fall. So it's really just some space for them. And I did open up the rest of the fondant pouch and leave that in there, but I didn't put any additional food in because it doesn't seem like they need it right now. They also, when I opened this one, I just looked at a couple of the frames. I saw a lot of brood, a lot of pollen. Didn't see much in the way of nectar, so it's part of why I'm leaving that fondant in there. So I'm not sure if we're just a little bit ahead of that. And if anyone has any idea what might be blooming in, let's see, CSRA, South Carolina area, please put that in the comments because I don't have a clue. And I walked around, a couple hundred feet in every direction. I don't see anything blooming, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. There's a lot of woods around us. I did not really go track in the woods. I walked along the roadways. So that's how that hive is doing. They are starting, I feel like they're starting their explosion that I was planning for in about 3 weeks from now. So I went ahead and gave them a little bit of extra space just in case. The weather here has been below freezing at night and high 40s during the day. This is a little bit warmer today. We had to come out and move some trees, so that's why we're out here. Now let's talk about this hive. And don't let the lack of activity right there fool you. They're still alive. This hive looked a little bit like it might have been near the brink of starvation, but had also not finished its fondant patty. I'm not sure what to make of that. And then because I was in the other one, I decided to open this one. There are a couple of bees who have found some sort of pollen. Looks very similar to the pollen that the other bees are bringing in, but not nearly the quantity. But then I pulled this one up and they have a full frame of nectar. I am astounded. So they have like 2 half frames of brood on each side. So I feel like that's about the right size. I did happen to see the queen, but this is not a super huge colony, so she's just easier to find in this one. I was not looking in the other one. It was really a get in, get out, see if you can inspect in 30 seconds or less. But it's packed with brood, so someone's been in there laying. And they are kind of doing this weird behavior. And I don't know, hopefully I didn't start something like a robbing frenzy. I really hope I didn't do that because it looks like they're kicking that bee out. And of course all the bees are swarming around me now because I just went and messed with their hives. But this one, they had very little honey left in there. But again, they had not finished the fondant. But then they have like one whole side of a frame of foundation that is packed with pollen, bee bread, and now one that's packed with nectar. So whatever it's that's blooming, apparently it was just in time for these bees. And they've got, a lot less brood going than the other one, so I didn't give them any extra space. There's also, if anyone's following along, this hive has all 10 frames in the bottom. The other hive that we're looking at only has 8 frames in the bottom because it has a frame feeder in there. So if anyone has any suggestions or thoughts about what might be going on with them right now, I am definitely down to hear it. There's definitely getting some pollen and some nectar from somewhere, something. So if anyone has any idea about what that is, I'd love to know. You know, of all the trees I looked at around here, they're like, bees don't really do trees. And I saw something the other day that said, bees live in forests. Bees must do trees. Maybe we're underestimating what bees do to trees. Could certainly be the case. Pine here usually picks up about the beginning of March. So that, even so, pine is a little early for pine. So, and if you look around, there are some oaks and stuff, but it is definitely predominantly pine. So if you know, let us know. Let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking them out. But both hives seem to be doing all right, and I'm glad we fed them. I'll put some more fondant in here, so hopefully if the next week it's supposed to be all below freezing at night and 40s during the day, kind of like it was this past week. So if whatever it is that's blooming gets damaged by the frost, at least they'll have the fondant to fall back on. But they have put in some pollen and nectar, and I'm assuming that means we're going to start triggering the queen to start really bumping up. Honey flow here should start around March 15th, and as I said, it's the 3rd week of January. So if you have any pointers or tips and tricks, just feel free to throw them in the comments, and thank you very much for your help.